see any. On behalf of the amazing people that put this event together, we want to say thank you for joining. Before we get started, we wanted to have a quick word. The events of Jurassic SOC center on a malicious incident that brings a business to a halt. We realize that many of you may have experienced a similar incident in recent weeks. Even if not, we all know someone affected. While we started planning this event several months ago, we did consider postponing out of respect for those affected. However, we believe the greater good for the MSP community is to provide ample resources to be able to respond to such an event should it ever occur to you. With that in mind, we hope you enjoy today's tabletop and walk away feeling a little more prepared because of it. And now, welcome to Jurassic SOC.
Without further ado, we'd like to officially welcome everyone to Jurassic SOC.
Hey, Jonathan, beautiful Costa Rica.
I know. Hey, Marnie, isn't this place amazing?
After our last gig reporting on that security incident debrief for Darth Vader, I feel like this job won't be nearly as stressful.
I mean, the tropical settings certainly doesn't hurt. Although I gotta say, this company that we're working for, Ingen, it's right up there with the Empire in terms of being super uptight.
Yeah, their NDA made my cybersecurity liability policy look like playground pinky promise.
Dino NDA. I never thought I'd be signing one of those. But you know what? This place really is incredible. I mean, did you see the Brachiosaurus herd over there? And I mean, the T-Rex? How many ghosts do you think that thing goes through in a week?
I always say I'm an omnivore, but wow, this is next level. As though the dinosaurs aren't impressive enough, have you checked out the technology and security in this place?
I mean, totally. Yeah, I overheard, this place is super futuristic. I overheard Nedry saying that thanks to automation, they could run this place on minimum staff for like days. And no kidding, that team's super small. The security team is all run through this operations center. You notice that room with all the cool lights and screens and everything. And it's managed by computers. So I guess it's a good thing that T-Rex, you know, the arms, they can't do the keyboard thing.
Yeah. So here's a question for you. With all the new facial recognition technology that's out there, could a pet or, heaven forbid, a dinosaur ever gain access to a system?
Great question. No idea. Maybe, let's see, Kyle Jackson, Tony Francisco, Cloud Plus, maybe they'd know.
Yeah, maybe.
But oh, wait, hey, look at this. It's our tour. Okay, so it looks like they're coming online. And Marnie, just as a reminder, these are the IT folks that the owner wanted to give a special behind-the-scenes tour to.
Yep. Okay, got it. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Make no bones about it. This visit is going to be epic. I'm Marnie, and this is Jonathan. We're going to be your guides on the special behind-the-scenes tour. Of course, we all know that we're really excited to see, right? Don't worry, we will get to see the dinosaurs, even though it's technically not open for another week. They are incredible features. We got a sneak peek at them earlier. I saw a pterodactyl fly by. We've also got some great prizes for you guys for flying out here to check this out today. So we're going to give them away at the end of the tour, and they'll be for folks who are active in the chat. So please participate along with us because, you know, we love interaction. But first, we thought, since you are managed service providers, you'd appreciate seeing where the real magic happens inside the control room.
That's right. I mean, I'm sure of anyone, right? You guys all here in the tour can truly appreciate how much technology and how much work goes into running a place like this. So you're going to have a chance to see how it all goes down, and you're going to meet some of the fine folks behind that tall task. That includes Dennis Nedry. He's Jurassic Park's chief IT architect. We've got Alex Farling, the chief engineer and head of IT ops. There's some tech interns who are great. And first, the owner of the park, Ray Orsini himself, told us he wants to welcome you personally.
Jonathan, Marnie, can you hear me?
Hey, Ray, good to see you.
Good to see you guys. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. This really having a good time here. Really excited to see you guys.
Yeah, another day in paradise, Ray.
Absolutely.
This place is amazing. We're excited to see what you have in store for us.
Oh, we do have a gift store. Absolutely. You can come get your dinosaurs live and plastic at the gift store later on.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to get to the store. We know you like shirts and everything too. But let me introduce you to the IT folks who we have on the tour here. Everyone, this is Ray. He's the man behind this truly modern marvel. And he's going to give a quick introduction to what you're going to be seeing today.
We are going to be seeing some of the most amazing technological marvels you've ever seen anywhere on the planet. We have gate controls, we have lighting, we have surveillance, we have live dinosaurs. This is a zoo like no other. And before we get started, I want to talk about our greatest effect. Where's Nedry?
Is that an alarm?
I'm sure it's nothing. It's not a big deal. Simon, can you get
alarm? That sounds like an alarm.
No. Simon?
We can't find Nedry. Who do I call?
Alex, that's the guy we need. Where's Alex? Alex,
what's going on, Ray?
I don't know what's going on. You tell me. I heard this alarm. I see some stuff on the screens. Can't find Nedry.
Where is he? Let's get in the system and see what we can find.
Listen,
get a hold of Nedry. This doesn't look good.
No, I'm sure it's going to be fine. Everything's good. It's not a big deal.
So how bad could it be?
Yeah, sounds like maybe just a technical issue, just a hiccup. What is the worst that can happen? The gates are still working, right? I mean, wait.
So wasn't there a
goat? Wasn't there a goat at the T-Rex paddock?
Right, like just a bit ago. You don't think the alarm is connected to the gates, do you?
I don't know. This seems a little not great.
So where did they go?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out in a second. Let's stay tuned. I'm sure everything's fine, folks. No need to panic or anything.
Yeah.
Like we said, they've top experts here. I'm sure they have everything under control.
Okay, so we're just gonna stay put for a while. So what do you think, Jonathan? We have all these IT folks here.
Yeah, I mean, well, if we're putting on pause here, that's a good point. We've got everyone who's in IT here. If computers is the issue, then hey, let's utilize you guys. Okay, so maybe we can get your input on this.
Yeah, good point. Okay, so it sounds like the system's acting strangely, right? And staff is locked out. What would you guys do in this situation?
I like how run is not an option. It's not like get out as fast as you can. Okay,
that is my option right now. I'd like to run.
I know. Well, okay, but we got a tour. We got to be calm. Okay, so let's see. What do you do right when computers are acting up? It's the classic thing. I'm not a technical person, but even I know you turn it off, you turn it back on, right?
Yes, exactly.
Could that work?
I don't know what happens when you reboot at home.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah. I mean, good point. How long does that take? I mean, when I'm firing up my gateway to play Duke Nukem, it takes at least like 10 minutes to warm up.
Yeah. Is there some like technical, like declare an incident panic button where you can just set things in motion? Like, do you officially declare an incident? I hope that's not something I have to help with. I left my car phone brick outside in the park.
I mean, you just raise your finger in the air and declare. I mean, is that what you do? It sounds like that's what our crew here is telling us, that that's what they're going to do.
You do declare an incident.
Yeah, starting incident response. I mean, declare schmear. I mean, if there's an alarm, we should probably get going, right?
Yeah, because we are fenced in with the dinosaurs, are we not? Are there other ideas that folks have in the chat that would be good to put up here as a possibility?
Blame Russia, I see, is one.
Declare bankruptcy. I'm sure that's not going to help. The person who notices the incident needs to start it. I feel like we all just heard that alarm going off. Do we all declare it?
Call the NSA. Now, the NSA, I'm not sure if they know that we're a U.S. organization operating off the coast of Costa Rica doing our thing. Maybe they're not the people to call. I don't know.
Maybe Ray will have some more information for us. Hi, Ray. What do you have? Our
Hi.
folks are saying we should declare an incident, but we don't know what that means.
I think we need to check with Alex. Alex, what's your call here, man?
Ray, I'm still unable to get access to our critical systems. Look at the screen. It's just gobbledygook. It looks like Nedry's got us locked out, and he wants 1.5 million in ransom to get us back access to our own systems.
You didn't say the magic word. You didn't say the magic word.
Ray, we've obviously got a breach on our hands here. We need to declare an incident. Can you grab the incident response binder? I know that's something you guys have been working on.
We got it. We got it right here. I worked with Nedry on this. We have pterodactyl. We have one of these Asauruses and one of these Asauruses. I don't think this might have been a TBD thing.
That doesn't look good, Ray. That's not what we should have at this point.
Jonathan, should we be freaking out right now? Their incident response binder had crayon pictures of dinosaurs.
I mean, they weren't bad. To be fair, they were pretty good. But okay, wait. Yeah, let's not freak out. Let's see. Once again, we've got our IT crew here in our tour. Let's find out what you guys think. What should we do here? So it sounds like they've been locked out by the guy who built their system,
right? For money, yeah, holding the network hostage.
Yeah, and so it seems like now's the time to start calling in the cavalry, right? So who's the first person they call?
So I see, like, called a lawyer, but what's a lawyer going to do? Like, offer dinosaurs a cease and desist order to the velociraptors? It would be more like a seize and digest order.
I don't know if the dinosaurs would even want to get a taste of the lawyer. Let's see. Well, okay, yeah. What if word gets out about this, right? I mean, this could be major news, and opening day is just in 3 weeks. I'm sure they don't want that getting out there, so maybe you get ahead of it. Then again, I mean, maybe you just try to not say anything about this at all, because maybe it's not a big deal.
Well, what about the authorities or the government? Do they even know dinosaurs exist yet? Like, let's run through what that call might sound like.
This is like that NSA comment, okay, right? So yeah, let's pretend. Hello, Costa Rica FBI. This is Jurassic Park. I hate to be a bother. You know that island you leased us? Well, we used it to recreate dinosaurs brought back from life, and now they're loose. Can you send over some like battleships or something?
Yeah, I don't see how that could go poorly at all. Although, still sounds better than having to talk to insurance.
Well, I mean that's totally true. Okay.
Ray,
yeah.
Are you there?
Listen, I don't want you guys to worry. We have plans for this. We have all kinds of people we can call. We have insurance people, PR people, NDA people. We spared no expense. But you know what? I never do anything without proper legal counsel. Let's get the lawyers on the phone. He's here in the park, right? Yeah, I think I saw him. He needed to make an important phone call. Let's get the lawyers.
Oh, I'm totally liking that. Oh, look at Becky with the good hair. So jealous.
Ooh, objection overruled.
So hold on just one second. Ray, it really looks like our attorney's indisposed, but I'm already on the line with the insurance company. I've got them on the sat phone. They should be sending an incident response team, and they should be here soon.
Wow, that was fast. Okay, this must be our incident response team. Looks like we've got a Jason Slagle and a John Hammond joining us.
John Hammond? That name sounds really familiar. Have I met you somewhere before?
Oh, wait. Oh, I know. Okay. These guys are actually, they're famous. I mean, they've been handling like all the top incidents for the past year. They're really top notch.
Well, hey, the insurance company spared no expense.
Yeah, I've got this NDA here. I don't know why it's so long. It's almost like you're going to IPO or something.
So our head of development has locked us out of all of our critical systems, and now he's disappeared.
Ooh, what happens when you try to log in?
Here, let me show you.
You didn't say the magic word. You didn't say the magic word. You didn't say the magic word.
Oof.
Okay, so you're locked out of your systems. Seems like a pretty bad nightmare scenario here. Do you guys have any disaster recovery plan? Any business continuity? How do you have you planned to recover from this sort of thing?
We were working on that. We don't have. I don't think we have a great plan. We should come up with something else.
I see. I know we're in a dinosaur park here, right? How is a dinosaur park regulated? Is there some industry? Is this FDA? How are you handling compliance and regulation here?
I think we're regulated by the FDA, the Federal Dinosaur Administration.
In reality, since we're a zoo, the Animal Welfare Act really is what applies to us. The only real concern here is the welfare of the animals.
So people can get eaten, but if we hurt the dinosaurs, everything's bad.
Everybody has their priorities.
Yeah. What are our notification requirements here if there's a breach?
As long as we don't have credit card data stolen, PCI would be our really our only notification requirements. And of course, if a dinosaur is hurt, there's going to be some Animal Welfare Act stuff that we have to deal with. So let's take it easy on that.
How long has this been going on for? Do we know how this started? Do we know how they got in?
Unfortunately, Nedry was our chief designer, so he's been in the systems from day one. We have no idea how long he's been planning or working on this.
Okay, so this is not great. Do we know what systems are currently inaccessible?
Seems like he's gotten everything. Gate control and fencing seems to be down. We don't have any access to it. Asset tracking and monitoring. I can't even tell where the dinosaurs are in the park. Internal and external communications are down. We can't communicate with anybody. There's no getting into surveillance, lighting, core infrastructure. Even the whole network's wacky. Even the weather monitoring system's not working.
Okay.
What about the payment systems? Can we get the payment systems up and running?
It seems like the payment system should be the least of our concerns right now.
Yeah. If we're trying to talk priority here, right? We're in a dinosaur park, and if there are potentially dinosaurs running around, what's absolutely critical? Kind of going by life safety. What do you consider the number one priority here?
I mean, we've got to get communications up. Otherwise, we can't tell people where they need to be, where we can put them that's safe.
Man, I almost think that we should probably be trying to get like the tracking information system up for the dinosaurs so we can tell where they're at in the park, because then we know where we have to stay away from.
Personally, in my mind, if we're talking about life safety, I care more about the gate control and fencing. At least, try to get dinosaurs away off in their own location, how to protect us, people.
No offense, John. I know you're famous and everything, but if we get this wrong and we lock somebody into a paddock with live dinosaurs, we're going to kill them.
Yeah, and if we don't know where they're at, I don't understand how we can possibly turn the gates back on without understanding where the dinosaurs presently are.
Look, if we're the ones kind of brought into the scene here to help, I really got to think we have to be the ones to recover from this and help repair. If anything, we need to protect ourselves. I think we should honestly just cut the gates and get the gates back online and protect ourselves here in the control room.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Guys, I hate to interrupt, but there are people still out there working in the park. Are they in danger? I mean, there's a guy right there on a lawnmower.
Oh, he's got to go faster. Must go faster.
Let's go faster.
Oof, that's really not good. Things are getting out of hand, Marnie.
We need to get a decision fast. Let's see what the people in the chat have to say. Let's see what the IT crew says.
Yeah. I mean, so I like how we have John Hammond, the incident response provider, saying protect the control room. That's not where we are. I would maybe like a plan that does something else. But okay, what are their options here, right? They're talking about bringing the system online, but how do they even do that? What do folks here think? So isn't this the time where you do the clickety clacking, like you hack your way in? How do you do that? Do you just like try to guess a password maybe?
Yeah. What would the password be? Nedry1234?
Butterfinger? Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Well, let's think about this again. So there's the whole turning it on and back off and back on.
Many people in the chat have recommended that.
I know
sure.
and they know their stuff. But is it a guarantee it's going to come back on? I mean, is that going to do more harm than good? I really don't feel good about that situation.
So what was that ransom amount again? I mean, we have quite a few people here. Maybe we can take a collection. I got some change in my pocket. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, how'd that even work though? I mean, okay, so we're just putting this in a big duffel bag. We're going to run with the duffel bag across the park and give it to Nedry. I mean,
yeah.
Note to self, something like a digital currency that could be like sent and received rather anonymously. That could be kind of cool.
All right, interesting. Well, it seems like the folks that actually know have a better idea. So let's see what Ray's going to do and tell them what they recommend.
Yeah, absolutely.
1-800-ransom. Hello, Nedry. Listen, I'd like to pay the ransom. Hello?
Hello, guy. Here, little guy. Go get it. That's where the barber saw went.
Okay, so we've decided gate control is our #1 priority. If we're the people here, can we get these gates back up online kind of manually? Do we just barricade something with a big lock? What can we do with
that gate system's super complicated. I mean, it's actuators and hydraulics, electric fences. It's all computer controlled. Nedry would be really the only one who understands it well enough to bring it back online. We really need that system up.
There's no documentation, nothing anyone else of us could try and get spun up on.
Yeah,
Way too
what do
much
we know
of this
about
lives in his
it?
brain.
Yeah, is it a single system? Like, is it a group of systems? Like, what's it look like for us to try to restore it?
There's a lone controller that manages all the downstream elements. The downstream elements seem okay, but the controller's offline. It has dependencies on other systems like directory services. I don't know how to go around it. If we need, maybe we can get around it.
Okay. Backups. What do your backups look like? Do you have backups?
I mean, the cloud backups should be pretty easily accessible. Local archives and backups are out there at the system. I should have remote access to those.
Okay. What kind of access do we have to the systems in the park at present?
We have access over KVM, but none of the remote servers are responding. Nedry knew exactly where to lock us out of each and every system. He did a really thorough job of sabotaging this. The entire command and control infrastructure is down.
Man, I hate to do it, right? But we have real lives at stake. I'm hearing things that some guy on a lawnmower got eaten. I backing up, like restoring from backups, it just might take too long, right? I think realistically, we need to think about paying the ransom.
No. I think paying the ransom just emboldens the hackers, emboldens bad guys, all the criminals to just do this more. That just continues the ransomware treadmill.
We literally just had a man get eaten off a lawnmower. I think we need to consider paying the ransom. It's going to be the fastest way to get the park operational and ensure that everybody's safe.
Under no circumstances are we paying the ransom. Absolutely, I will not. I will not work with these people.
I mean, I get it's a lot of money, but this is why you have insurance. Insurance can pay the ransom, and then no more people have to die here.
Our insurance got eaten, so I don't think that's an option.
You mentioned the cloud backups. Is that still a possibility? Is that remotely an option?
We're dealing with satellite here. We just don't even have enough bandwidth to download the images.
What kind of connectivity do we have right now over satellite phone?
Satellite connectivity, high latency. It's going to be really bad. These systems were designed to have a local controller to access the management database. I don't even know where to begin to try and get these systems to function with a controller in the cloud at high latency. This whole thing was Nedry's brainchild.
Man, this just keeps getting worse and worse. I guess local is going to have to be the way we do this then. John, what sort of forensics things do we need to think about here if we're going to try to restore locally?
I mean, honestly, I think whatever evidence we can preserve whatsoever, whether that's endpoint hard drives, data in memory, My fear is, hey, if we get this thing back online somehow, some way, if there are still hooks and claws to be able to just start the ransom all over again, any indicators of compromise, any artifacts, logs to better understand how this happened, just anything would be a great help here.
Yeah, so we should see what kind of resources we have. Hey, Alex, what do we have that we can use for parallel restores so we can just take the other stuff off the network and restore to
We
it?
had an order placed for hot spare equipment, but something about a canal and a chip shortage. At present, all we have is the cloud backups and the original machines. We're going to have to nuke and pave everything.
Yeah, I mean, this situation is not great. Yeah, I mean, we really need forensics to ensure we don't have paths, right, for people to get back in. What are the insurance implications of this? I know insurance brought us in. John, what are the insurance implications if we wipe out forensics?
Look, if we wipe out forensics and come practically empty-handed, insurance isn't going to want to pay a dang thing.
I mean, we're obviously not willing to pay the ransom. We're going to have to pay somebody. We just have to restore. I don't see that we have a choice.
Okay, I mean, can you hop into the gate control system, see what kind of access we have, and we might as well reboot it to start looking at what it looks like to restore.
I think I can get connected, and I think I can get connected and kick it over. Let's see what we can do. Kernel panic. Oh man, if only there was somewhere we could go to learn to address issues like this. Gate controls depend on this older Linux gate system. It's on premise. It's out at the gate. It hasn't come back up after the reboot. So this kernel panic and remote KVM, we're going to need physical access and media to fix this. We're going to have to send somebody.
Wait, what? Jonathan, did he just say that they were going to send someone out in the park to go fix this?
Marnie, I'm right there with you. I don't want that to be me either.
Nope.
Okay, so maybe we can get some influence here. Who can we send? Let's get our input from the IT crew here. Okay, guys, putting yourself in their shoes, right? Let's think this through. Who are they going to send? The thing is, they may only have one shot at this. Who knows that system more than anyone? It's going to be Alex, right? He's the veteran. He's the most experienced.
The way he smokes, he'll never make it to 50 yards.
Okay, all right. I guess that leaves the intern.
You know,
I mean, is she even getting paid for this stuff?
I did see some people in the chat say send the intern. She definitely looks like she's faster than the smoker. That's for sure.
Okay. Well, oh, wait. What about Crocodile Dundee over there? I mean, he looks like he'd be able to handle this, right?
But does he know a computer from a boomerang? Like, that's a real question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Oh, no.
Wait, Marty, what are you seeing?
It looks like we've got velociraptors running over to the visitor center. We need to warn the guys. They're in a lot of danger.
Okay. All right. Let's tell them. Let's tell those guys what they said. It sounds like Alex is the selection. We got to get Alex to move. Those guys don't have a lot of time. They're in danger.
Guys, do you hear that? You need to make a decision. Come back.
Look, this is not my problem. This is not my park. I didn't sign up for this. I'm going to take that job Ray wanted to give me in the gift job. I'm not going up there.
If you do, you gotta get the payment systems up and running. But I'm not. I found out the intern is paid, so we're not sending a paid intern by themselves. Why don't we send Muldoon with her?
Crocodile Dundee.
Clever girl.
It's a Unix system. I know this. It's all the files of the whole part. It tells you everything. I've got gotta find the right file.
Did I just hear the power come back on? Did it work? Are we up and running?
It worked. She did it. We have the core network and gate control online. Other systems are coming up as we speak.
That's right, folks. The systems are back up just like we planned. Sorry for that little interruption. Hopefully this can stay between us. Remember your NDAs, that paperwork you signed. Now, as I'm sure you can understand, there won't be any more dinosaur viewing today, but be sure we will give you all complimentary tickets for the opening day that you can get the full true experience. In the meantime, tour guys will take you over to the merchandise shop where you can get complimentary copies of our backup plans. And Alex, are the payment systems back up?
Look, man, asset tracking, location monitoring, they're coming up now. Internal communications is good. Surveillance is going to need a little bit more work to get the cameras online. External communications, lighting, weather monitoring, those are going to have to be restarted manually. There's still some work to do here. Do you really want me to stop now and go look at payment systems?
No, it's okay. Cash and carry at the gift shop. Please go enjoy the gift shop.
Wait, what about, weren't there raptors just kind of circling around this place? Aren't they still running around?
Fun fact, the gift shop is actually the most secure location in the entire park, not the control center. It's an incredibly elaborate security system. We spared no expense. So let's keep it moving. Everyone to the gift shop.
So how do you guys open a park again? I heard you had maybe a little bit of a malfunction or a problem.
No, it wasn't a big deal. It was just an electrical issue. We're fine.
All right.
So here you go. I hope you enjoy your new dinosaur toys, man.
Thank you very much.
Phew.
All right, guys.
Saved most everyone.
most everybody. And hey, the intern saved the day. And as you point out, Marnie, tomorrow is National Intern Day, or it's today, right?
National Intern Day today, yeah.
So thank your interns. They can save the day. Everybody, thanks so much for tuning into this. Stick around, okay? So as you can see, we're only halfway through the hour. Obviously, there was lawnmower death. There was
on the toilet.
Yep, there's all sorts of stuff happening there. There's a lot to unpack, including actual real world takeaways from all this stuff. So, Marty, I think we're going to bring back the real brains
get everybody
here.
else back on the call and have some real world takeaways on this. Yes. So John and Jason saving the day, Ray, ever the entrepreneur, and Alex in a Colonel Panic himself.
I like how you guys made the sales guy play the IT guy, but it worked out.
It's tough. I don't know about you, John. I am not an actor, and so this is very stressful. And now we get to talk about things that like we're actually super jazzed about. So
yeah, this is I think the fun part, right? So now we're kind of letting our hair down. We're not kind of some Grammys. Hey, sorry.
So yeah. I mean, obviously, there's tons of like Ray mentioned at that awesome preamble at the very beginning, right? I mean, this is an event we had a lot of fun with. It sounds like you guys did too in the chat, which is awesome. But there's real world stuff to take away, especially recently events that kind of inform things. And I think this is on a lot of people's minds in terms of security incidents, actually getting prepared. And you guys have so much actual real knowledge to share. But as you guys are working through this, like what were some things, you're kind of like reverse engineering the problems that would happen in this place. What were some things that jumped out in terms of actually we do see this kind of thing happening? This actually is like a real world thing that people need to consider.
I think what I had the most fun with to begin with for this was creating this scenario where, yes, you have a legitimate cybersecurity problem and an incident and an issue, but we sort of elevated it to add in a little comedy and farce and satire here. It's like, oh, we're at Jurassic Park, and there are literally lives at stake for dinosaurs running around, going and eat people. I was bantering back and forth with Jason, where it's like, well, hey, there are in some cases in the real world we literally do have lives at stake for ransomware, for crazy hacks, for stuff going down like this. But when we're chatting with the characters, when we're chatting with Ray and the owner of Jurassic Park, and we're like, look, do you guys have any response plan? Do you have any preparations? Have you at least mentally thought through this before? And they hand open like this blank book with drawings and doodles of dinosaurs on it.
Yeah, it gets really hard, right? So, we kind of noodled around the blank book, but it happens so much, right? You get all of these like businesses that they're like, oh yeah, we're just going to restore, right? Or we don't understand what our critical dependencies are. We don't understand where to even start, who to call, right? Like you really do have to have a plan, and you can't wing it when there's an emergency, because maybe like our characters, you might get lucky, but most of the time that doesn't actually happen, and you get very, very unlucky.
Well, and there's a lot of talk in the chat you guys can probably address around fleshed out disaster recovery plans don't often really get vetted objectively, right? We write it all out on paper and it looks good, but what happens in the real world?
That's what I was going to bring up. I mean, one of the non-funny takeaways is a lot of people sometimes have a plan, but they haven't looked at it, or they haven't reviewed it on a regular basis. So it may not be up to date for whatever they're using at that moment.
I would totally echo that, and that you really have to validate and legitimately implement that plan. Like, it's one thing to say, oh, hey, we have backups. We're good. Cool. But have you tried to re-implement everything with those backups? Have you literally gone through that process? Because if it comes to crunch time and something goes wrong, now you're in a worse situation.
Hey, John, I know that you guys have done some other events that are tabletops, and you actually have a guide that walks people through how to set up a simple tabletop exercise. My understanding is you guys are going to be part of the email that goes out after this, that you'll be sharing that with folks, which is awesome. Because whenever I hear advice like that, my mind goes to people. It's easy to hear, but then in terms of taking a first step and actually making it approachable in a practical way, any tips there? I mean, I understand that tabletop guide kind of helps address that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to a certain extent practice, because there's a lot of things that you come through and you build yourself a good plan, and literally at step 2, it's off the rails, right? So it's like the plan is restore to cloud. Okay, well, let's look at this objectively, right? Like your entire network is cryptoed, including your domain controllers and all the servers. Those domain controllers were doing DHCP and DNS. Right. So now what's going to do DHCP? Assuming we can get DHCP, like how do we get connectivity to whatever cloud this stuff lives in? Right. What does it even look like to try to rejoin systems to a domain that you may have restored up in a cloud environment? Right. So, we kind of joked about connectivity being a problem here, but it's a thing that I've come across multiple times. Oh, it's good. We're just going to restore to the cloud. It's like, but if you have nothing, what does connectivity to that cloud look like?
And I want to bring up real quick, I see comments in the chat talking about specific events. We can all remember in the past couple of weeks, a specific event that echoed this, but I want to be really clear. That wasn't the first. That wasn't even the 10th. It's probably the worst to date, but don't forget about the print nightmare stuff. And the whole point of this is more is coming. MSPs are targets. It's easy to pick on the last guy, but honestly, we're all targets here. And that's the important takeaway from this.
Yeah. I mean, I'll twist the knife when I can, but there's more coming. It's a really bad time to be in IT right now. It's like literally we've spent like the past month just running from 0 day to 0 day. It's been absolutely terrible. So, I mean, I think at this point, if you're not thinking about assumed breach mentality, then at this point, you're probably getting it wrong, right? Because, for so many years, so many MSPs, they preach, and even in town here, even locally or regionally or nationally, I still see people saying like, asking questions, hey, what's the most secure stack I can use to stop my customers from getting cryptoed? It's like, you can't. It doesn't exist, right? So you got to stop thinking about preventing, and that doesn't mean you don't prevent, right? Just because I can kick through your door doesn't mean you don't lock it, right? But at some point or another, I don't know if it was Wes or Chris or one of those guys, they likened it to a hurricane, right? You don't try to prevent the hurricane. You try to get your business back up and running as quickly as possible when the inevitable hurricane hits.
Yeah, I think that was Kyle actually from Huntress.
The Huntress one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think there's that mentality though that we kind of just need to switch, and that you were alluding to there, Jason, is just so many times you think folks have in their mind like, oh, threat actors, hackers, and bad guys, they don't care about me, little old me. I'm just a small fish in the pond. I'm a whatever size mom and pop shop, and the adage we all come around to now is like, it's not a matter of if the hackers will attack you, it's a matter of when. So having the response, the preparation, everything ready, and being able to better detect and respond, that's the best we can do in some cases.
What about in terms of kind of more initial steps, right? I mean, Jason, with everything that's been happening lately, I know this has caused you to kind of rethink some stuff. Are there any specific examples of kind of things that you've stepped back and kind of rethought and you're maybe changing up?
Yeah. So, I mean, the most specific attack that happened made me go, man, we do a really good job with backups to make sure that the systems actually performing the backup aren't on like a domain and they're not accessible and things aren't accessible that way. But we were using the same essentially control plane to control those systems, right? They were in our RMM tool, right? The same remote access tool. We were using that for those. And it's the most recent breach that I won't name by name. It really highlighted the fact that, man, if they had gotten into those client systems, we were managing backups with those same systems. So it's caused us to take a look back and at least like our own internal infrastructure and backups and stuff like that, moving it to a separate control plane from all of the client managed systems, so that if that client control plane gets breached, it doesn't lead to the management and all the backup stuff getting breached too.
I think that's one of the positive outcomes of recent events, because there's always a silver lining, right? Every challenge is an opportunity, and it's looking at our tool sets again and seeing what can be separated out, what is absolutely necessary, what tools need access to what, and who needs access to those tools. It's those takeaways I think are really important, and they may not have been top of mind up until recently, but definitely worth having the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, another angle of this too is, obviously there's all the a whole host of the technical stuff, right? But I mean, like at Ninja, we've been having we have regular live chats, and last week's was on ransomware response planning. Tyler Hudak in the chat here was with us for that. And another whole angle is the stuff that we kind of had jokes about, but in terms of communication, right? And so once something happens, like you guys are pointing out, are there regulations? Are you obligated to contact your clients, or your clients going to fail obligations to contact their customers when something happens? How are you going to handle communications with not just with your clients, but with agencies, all sorts of stuff? And having to figure that out on the fly, I mean, it can't be a good situation to be in.
Yeah, I think that for better or worse, regulation is coming, right? Like we've tried to self-regulate it, we tried to hold it off. Like that ship has sailed. So the best thing we can try to do is try to guide what that regulation ends up looking like in the end. But I suspect, I know that it's going to become a situation that if you're an MSP and you have a breach, there are likely to be reporting requirements. If you deal with government at all, or you're in Louisiana, there are already reporting requirements, and I expect to see that expand.
I might spin out of that for just a moment, because I think there was one idea that we were poking at during the show, the performance that we were doing is, look, if we're hit with this ransomware, and that was the crutch here, okay, Jurassic Park is hit with ransomware, do we pay the ransom? Do you ever pay the ransom? Is that a good idea in some cases? I'd be curious to kind of get your thoughts on that one, Jason, before I...
Yeah. Obviously I took the line. We were kind of going through this. We were noodling over what to say, and John kind of grimaced when I had written that he should say that we should pay the ransom, and I'm like, I totally get it. I'll take it.
You couldn't hear those words coming out of his mouth.
Generally, I don't think it's a good idea. However, it happens a non-zero amount, right? I will say you should never directly pay the ransom. You should engage an incident response team or insurance. If you don't have insurance at this point, you're an MSP, you're going to go out of business at some point or another, right? So if paying the ransom is on the table, you really kind of got to get the lawyers involved in that, because you are likely violating a federal law by doing that. So you really need somebody to walk that line and decide if it's going to be a thing that you want to do. And you really need like a trusted third party, like somebody like Chris Lair or somebody in that group to do that for you.
Yeah, and even then, right? I mean, it's pointed out often, like there's no guarantees with anything, right? It's more about balancing, weighing risks. I mean, if you pay the ransom, there's some ransomware operations that are very professional about it and have worked. I think the point was brought up last week. Like the encryption works super fast. Decryption tools, maybe not always their priority.
Yeah. And does anybody know the stat off the top of their head on how many businesses that pay the ransom get hit again? It's somewhere near 80%.
Yeah, it's very high.
So
and it's usually not even the same actors, right? It's like you pay the ransom, but you don't actually fix the underlying issue. There are several documented incidents though of big companies paying the ransom and the ransomware actors sending them a playbook of what to fix to make their network more secure. So at that point, is it just consulting? I mean,
it should be
really
very pricey consulting.
Yeah. Right.
Well, like, that's the problem, right? Like, how do you trust that network ever again?
Right.
Like,
yeah,
I don't like burn it down and start over.
Right. But if something like this happened to I can't say the name, but a House of Mouse, for example, something massive like that, you can't really justify tearing the whole thing down, right? Like, where's the middle ground there? Where's the line?
Yeah, you definitely need to understand, right? And so we kind of harped a little bit about forensics and indicators of compromise. You really, like, one of the mistakes I see most common, right? It's like somebody gets hit by ransomware and the immediate gut check reaction to the MSP is just nuke it and rebuild it, right? But man, so much of this stuff just isn't even writing files to disk now. And if you can't get access to the copy of memory, you have no idea how it got in or what its footholds were, what its persistence is, right? And so the likelihood that you're not going to figure out how they got in, so you're not going to fix it, is almost 100%.
So before we continue, I want to stop so Jonathan and Marnie can give away the first prize. While we do that, though, in the chat, I don't want to say his name. He may have died several times throughout this event. Is picking the best comment winners for these events. But while Jonathan and Marnie are doing the first giveaway, put in the chat, would you blow it away? Would you, try to keep the network up and running? How would you handle it?
All right. Oh yeah. Okay. So the prizes. So we decided back in the Star Wars thing, there's like really sweet big ticket items that you can get. Right. But this time around, we're like, okay, there's all these like amazing like little things involved with this movie. Let's put together Jurassic packs. So we have Jurassic packs, and we got 3 of them.
Jurassic pack.
had to do it. Okay, so we've got 3 of them, and this first one is what we're calling the memorabilia pack. And as you can see, you'll recognize some things for anyone who's watched the movie recently. Of course, we got the amber mosquito and the amber, which Ray couldn't resist getting as part of this, right?
Oh yeah.
We've got a raptor claw replica, the squeezy thing from Nedry's desk. The Barbasol can is not just a normal Barbasol can. You can actually hide stuff in there. And then there's the Chaosy Malcolm shirt for good measure. So let's see.
So the first winner, I got it. You have it.
Oh, you're asking me if I have it?
Oh, I have it. It's Nick Swink for the comment higher budget than Sharknado.
Nice.
So, so Nick, you are going to want to, we'll take it. I'll send an email to info@lifecycleinsights.io so that we have your real contact information. Last time we had to hunt down some folks from some fairly vague names from the chat. So we'll put it on you.
Awesome. Congratulations, Nick. And we got 2 more of those things coming too. So Ray, what do you want to do? Do you want to go through another more questions, or do you want to give those away now? What do you want to do?
I mean, I definitely want to hear, like, from the chat, what other items are we not thinking of, right? Like, you have these security experts here talking about what they would address, how they would address. But I want to hear from the chat. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, and while we're seeing some comments come in, I've got one for you guys. So there was a great comment that came in that said, paying the ransom, not IT's decision in some cases. And that, I think what that underscores for me is there's lots of roles that happen with this when these events happen, right? And there's politics involved. There's all sorts of things. There's the insurance company sending in an external IR team in some cases.
Well, and I think that opens a great conversation that John and Jason and I had about who to call and when. And we went back and forth between attorney and insurance company. And we finally landed on insurance company because they probably provide the attorney who's going to protect you, who's going to have to go to court for you. It's not going to be your corporate attorney who doesn't know anything about technology. It's going to be that cybersecurity company, that cyber insurance company's attorney who gets dragged in, who's kind of involved in all of this. So, everybody says go straight to the attorney. Be careful with that. If your attorney is a general practice attorney, it's a different world.
Yeah, I mean, that's what thinking about these roles, right? Like, I mean, if an IR team is being sent in, like, what does your incident response plan look like if you're an MSP? How far have you taken it? I mean, I think we get this kinds of questions all the time. Like, where does their work stop and an IR team's work begin? And there's not always a lot of clear answers. So I guess one takeaway would be talk to your insurance provider and try to get some answers around that.
100%, right? Like I obviously you need to build out your IR team and your IR plan. However, you have to realize that if your insurance company knows what they're doing, they probably already have a preferred IR vendor, aka the one they'll pay for, right? So who you get to choose to bring in that to hold that role, like that may already be set in stone for you. You may not just get to go out and pick.
So one of the comments I saw here was it's not always and I'm trying to find the comment. It's not always a binary choice of rebuild or keep it. What are the other options I'm not thinking of here? Like, I'd love to. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting in the chat to get more context, but is that just referring to like that initial decision about trying to keep evidence? Because that was something you guys touched on too, right? And that's a common question is, before you start unplugging things and turning things off, is that actually going to be doing some harm too?
For sure. And not to make it a quagmire here, not to like get too deep into the woods, but like, and Jonathan, I think this is your webinar you did with Huntress a couple of years ago. It's still relevant today, which is crazy. It's that the other option is that we ignore and we do manual processes. No, not really. But having a different response plan based on the type of event, right? Because I know internally we have different communications protocols depending on the gravity and the scope of the type of event. Because if you get, let's be honest, if you get payment systems that may have some kind of compromise and that payment system's properly isolated, yes, you have something to respond to, but it's not worth taking down the rest of your systems, right? Maybe these are options. I'm not saying this is the way you should handle it. But maybe different types of response books. Do you guys see that in regular life? I know at the police department, we had like 15 different response types books for like every kind of thing imaginable.
There are other industries like the nuclear power industry where they're required to have instant response books for anything that have over a certain percentage chance of happening. So 1998, the nuclear power plant 20 miles from here got hit by a tornado, and they literally had a book that they pulled off a shelf that said plant getting hit by tornado.
I think that's awesome.
It's awesome. But if you work there, are you like looking at these books for a decade going, why the hell do we have these? And then one day here comes a tornado, right?
I mean, a non-zero amount of their budget goes to maintaining those books. So, I mean, there's definitely a fine line here that
at the police department, we had a book for making contact with extraterrestrial life. The book was never updated. Dinosaurs. It had to be 40 years old.
What were the characters in that one like, Ray?
I'm not sure how deep dive I can get into this without disclosing stuff I shouldn't be disclosing. Because they really did have an NDA at the police department. But like they had plans for nearly everything. It was a little ridiculous. Never reviewed though. Actually, maybe I shouldn't have
Well,
said
but
that.
I think that's one of the things that we need to look at in our industry is how often do we review, right? Because if there's one thing that the latest industry event, and I'm not slamming anybody, but what it made me aware of was what if you had to preserve the hard drive at every client that you have? Like, we're worried about, do we have enough techs to do this? Do we have enough techs to go out and restore? I can borrow techs. How many hard drives can I come up with overnight if I support 1,500 systems?
Well, even more than that, like say you can get your backups back from your backup provider. Like, what's the amount of time? Like, how much bandwidth can you put into filling hard drives back up? Right? Like, it very quickly becomes a parallelization problem that's way too big to even handle.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that was really cool that once again, we'll give Huntress a major props for this. In the wake of everything with Kaseya, John, I know you and the other folks there were trying to help with matchmaking for MSPs to say, okay, if anyone's affected, trying to find folks who are in their local area who could maybe provide some auxiliary support. And that was amazing to see that the community kind of rallied together around that. And I know one of the takeaways that people have talked about after that was, you know, maybe we don't wait until the immediate aftermath of a big storm to do that. I mean, maybe there's some proactive work that could be done in that way too. You know, we take opportunities like this where there's a bunch of us all together, we share information, and maybe there's conversations that can happen and resources shared and plans made between MSPs themselves.
Yeah.
So why don't we pause here? We have 2 more prizes to give away. Before we talk about the next prize, though, I want to bring up our shirts. Simon will put up a graphic for the Jurassic SOC shirts because, you know, we don't do anything without some amazing swag. And he'll put a coupon code there for 15% off at the store. But for 100% off, the next giveaway, Jonathan and Marnie, what do we got?
I like how Sean can't get one of those shirts too. That's the joke we made yesterday.
We're having one custom made for him that has the claw marks across survived just for him.
I love it. Fantastic. So next up, we have the action pack with the T-Rex, Arnold, Nedry, and Ian Malcolm action figures.
We need a new John Hammond action figure in there.
Yeah,
yeah, for real. Oh man. I gotta say, right before we move past that, I know we're coming down on time, but I was so happy and excited when I knew, John, that you were coming on. You agreed to do this, and we had John Hammond for Jurassic SOC. It just made it.
We had a lot of like internal discussion as like, can we have John Hammond play the character John Hammond and own the Jurassic Park, or like, no, we should probably make him be a cyber guy.
Yeah, I felt like kind of wasting your talents a little bit to do that, but yeah, okay. So yeah, these action figures. I mean, I want all of these things.
I actually have that T-Rex behind me too. That's really
nice. Who's our winner for this one? Do we have
so
one?
That is Jonathan Abramson with the comment, you'll pay twice, once for access and second to keep them from spreading your data. So Jonathan, same thing. If you can email info@lifecycleinsights.io, we'll get you covered for that. And then Jonathan, if you could tee up the next winner for the movie night pack, which has the movie box.
Before we get to that prize, maybe we want to bring up, you know, a lot of this group was also involved in Rogue One, which was an awesome event on my birthday. And it was special for the event too, but it was my birthday. We have Jurassic SOC. As we consider doing the next one, we'd love to hear ideas from you guys, what you would like to see later on this year. Maybe something spooky, maybe something Avengery, who knows? But put your ideas in the chat. All right, who's our third winner here?
Nice. Well, I do, before we announce the winner, I do just want to call out some of the things here. So we got all the movies, right? And you'll have your say on whether you want Blu-ray or whatever. But we also have a little Pez dispensers, some Dino gummies. That's a Stegosaurus nacho holder, which, I mean, no home is complete without, in my opinion. And then likewise, I mean, that's a Jeff Goldblum's, that's a sequin pillow, my friends. You put your hand over it, it goes from red to Jeff Goldblum right there. Yeah. We also talked about recreating that scene, and we decided not to.
We've decided that, like, if you ever need anything bought, anything, you just reach out to Ninja, because they are amazing at finding the most random shit. Yeah.
And they really could have been a procurement company.
Dave Mason.
On point.
Do I mention that I have this R2D2 specifically because of Marnie?
Nice. I like how Dave Mason really wants that pillow. But who do we have a pre-selected winner due to a comment? What do we got here?
Scrolling. Yes.
Yeah, Brew Directory does.
Oh, he sounds like Seth Rogen.
Do we bring up that? Do we bring up that we may or may not have a picture of Jonathan in that pose?
Oh no! Come on.
Maybe we'll leave that for the special after party.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay, well, hey, congratulations to you, Brew Directory does. Yeah, likewise, Marnie, we're going to send them your way again. Email info lifecycles.
Yep. So
and you'll be resting your head on Jeff Goldblum soon enough.
Well, we thank you everyone, for your time. This is always a ton of work to prepare. So thanks everybody who does the heavy lifting on that. And thanks all for joining in the chat.
Actually, before we run, let's have John talk quickly through this tabletop exercise pack that's going to get released, because it'll hold everybody over just a minute, but I think it's worth talking to so they know what they're getting in their email.
Oh,
cool. Yeah, thanks so much. I super appreciate that. So just super quick backstory. Previously, Huntress had put on an event called Hack It, and one of the first sessions that we wanted to roll with that was a interactive, totally audience-driven, like engaging tabletop exercise. And we put together this scenario, and we thought, hey, this has a lot of legs, man. This is some pretty good runway. A lot of folks really love that idea, so we wanted to put together a tabletop in a box so that you, with your own team, with your own organization, with clients, customers, whatever you'd like, you can put on your own tabletop exercise. There is like a show or a storyline all built into it, but obviously, you as the dungeon master, as the with the lack of a better word, you can do whatever you want. You can change it up, add things, rearrange things, and we hope to be doing a lot more like this in a coming Hack It and other future events. But I do hope you enjoy that tabletop exercise. That is truthfully my brain baby. So I hope there's some good knowledge and worth and value in that.
But the biggest thing we hear when we talk to MSPs who aren't doing tabletops is they don't know where to start. This is small enough that it's bite size and they can start here, right?
Absolutely. And you should give it a go and try it out.
I think the big takeaway there is that the Huntress team put together like an entire role-playing game based on the tabletop theme. Like I'll be a level 5 Linux sysadmin. That can be like my class, right? Saving throw versus dead hard drive.
Yeah.
Are you saying there's a version of Roll 3389 that we should be expecting soon?
Oh, Roll 3389 would be amazing.
I didn't mean to correlate a tabletop exercise with Dungeons and Dragons, but I'm glad I
ruined it. Yeah, everybody either loves it or hates it now.
So, real quick, and we realize a lot of this stuff may have prompted more questions than answers. The idea for this stuff is to give you a starting point. Everybody on this event, and I think we need to bring on a few people that weren't on screen this entire time. We have Simon, we have Juan, we have Dom, we have and of course Sean that that dies over and over again. Why do I not see Sean? Oh, there he is on the screen drinking. This event, and Josie's not here with us, but she is in spirit. This is several months of work by some amazing people who gave of their time and their passion and their commitment. So we want to say thank you. This is all for the MSP community, so we hope you enjoyed it. And from all of us, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.